everybody, Allison here with your midweek update. This week we saw LYFT IPO come out, and a lot of you might be wondering, should you invest your money in this or in Uber? What's the deal behind it? Should we be getting in now? So let's go ahead and talk about that IPO listing. The initial price to buy in was at $72. There was a nice open earlier this week above that, but recently we've already tumbled back down below that $72 price level. Now, on the business side of things, you might be wondering which company looks better, how are they going to report earnings, what should I be looking for, and those are all great questions to have. First off, on the earnings report, LYFT can certainly start to affect the Uber IPO that will be out later this year. A part of that reason is they're already setting the bar for how to report earnings along with everything else. A great example of this is for LYFT earnings, they're not going to be including what they pay out to drivers. That means Uber, if they want it to do an overall gross revenue, will have a hard time reporting that with their earnings announcement now that LYFT has already set the bar to exclude what it pays out to the drivers themselves, so Uber will probably follow along with that. Another interesting thing to note is that both of those will be externally audited by PricewaterhouseCoopers, which isn't too common for two rival companies as big as this to have, but it only makes it more accurate that Uber will probably follow along with the LYFT and how they report things because they both have the same external auditor. Now, in regards to jumping in or not at this point, we don't have any technicals on the charts other than the price bars themselves, so it's really hard to determine whether to just jump in now or not. If you are looking to jump in, then I would be recommending this only as a pure long-term buy hold, something where you're just jumping into the stock, much like a Warren Buffett style, and you're holding for 10 plus years. If that's something you're considering doing, then I would take a look at the internals in a company and determine whether or not you like what you're seeing, if you like their market outlook overall, their expansion into bikes and scooters, and if you like everything that you're seeing with LYFT, then you might want to consider jumping into the stock. Otherwise, for myself, I would probably wait at least a year, maybe two, to determine how the overall ebb and flow and personality of LYFT starts to trade within the market itself. Oftentimes, you'll see with these IPO listings that the symbol itself will trade flat and choppy and sideways for a few years until it really finds its footing, it finds the right investors, and from there it will start to go into a trend. A great example of this was Amazon back in the day. It contained a flat narrative for quite a few years before it finally went into a rising bias trend. Baba, also similar with an IPO not too long ago, also showed a flat and choppy sideways movement on the chart before it finally started to pick up itself and go more into a bullish trend overall. So if you're looking to jump into LYFT now, certainly buy the stock, but don't look to necessarily close out for a few years. Understand there might be choppiness to come with that. Be emotionally okay with that choppiness and allow yourself to hold it for a few years before determining what you want to do with it. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you all have a great rest of your trading week. And as always, may the trade be with you. Talk to you next time, guys.